You're muted still.
The music is flipping out.
I can hear it flipping out through your headphones. You good? Hello. Frag Logic 61. Raquel gets his music fixed.
I need to figure out why it's flipping out.
Can you not hear me? I can hear it.
I know.
You're muted still.
The music is flipping out.
Last week we had the music timed perfectly.
I can hear it flipping out through your headphones.
This week's stuff's just blowing up.
Hello. Frag Logic 61.
You still have music going?
There we go. Good lord. It like the app crashed, and so it stayed in an infinite loop.
It wouldn't stop going.
It wouldn't stop going. Okay. What's up, guys? That was.
Hold on, I'll be right back. Someone's
That was weird as hell. That was weird as hell. Colin got people knocking at the door. Got a Jehovah's Witness at his door. It's like, no, get out of here. I don't want anything you have. Get away from me. No, but what's up, guys? We got episode 61 of Frag Logic. And today we're going to be talking about a number of goodies. Mostly like oddball stuff. We got our weekend gaming, obviously. CoD Champs, Diablo 3, Reapers of Souls. Only reason I'm really talking about this is because I'm actually not playing it. But Tense actually asked me to talk about the game, so I was like, okay, we'll talk about it this week. We got PAX East. I'm gonna mention some stuff there. I'll be heading out next week, I think on Wednesday. So it could even be Tuesday. I have to double check. So I gotta see where it's gonna fall with the show. Colin might be solo dolo next week. I'm not sure. Then we got Oculus stuff. And there's one more. Oh, Star Citizen. Yeah, I'm a backer. So
Not even gonna get started.
So I'm gonna start off with some games I played this weekend. I was all over the place. I know you saw my games list, Colin. You're probably like, what the hell?
It's kind of strange.
It was. So I started off. I want to say almost the day after the show, I played some Hawken, and I haven't played it in, I don't know, probably like 8 months or something like that. And the game it feels about the same in terms of controls and art style. They didn't really drastically do anything different from what I remember in the beta. But the big thing that I felt like was different was it seemed like the time to kill was significantly lower. So the game feels faster. I played like a couple multiplayer games. I was actually doing surprisingly well for not playing for so long. The front end UI looks a lot different. It looks more. It almost looks like it's more console friendly, to be honest. Like that's how I would kind of envision, telling you how it looks. But it's obviously it's not. I mean, it works well with the mouse and
Still
keyboard.
server browser and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's still doing the browser stuff. Matchmaking is a little different though. You queue up, and I think that they kind of fixed some of the skill-based stuff. Because the guys that were playing with seemed like they were around my general range, so the matches felt better for me not playing for so long. And then obviously they're on Steam now, so initially they were their own game, like you had to install on there, and then they did away with that. And now they're on Steam. Which was a big surprising move, considering, you kind of think about, okay, everyone has access to your game when you have your own installer and patcher and stuff, and then you say, no, we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to go to Steam. Then you become the walled garden, so to speak, of that ecosystem. But I don't know, weird situation I think that they're kind of in right now. I played Gun Z2 Second Duel.
It's just guns, man.
Is it just guns? Why do they capitalize the Z then?
It's just guns.
Okay, well it's guns.
It was made in Asia, and they just decided that the Z was going to be capitalized.
Okay, it's just guns then. Guns 2. I thought it was. For the longest, I thought it was always Gun Z, but so it's just guns, and the game is very Asian. That's the best. I mean, you can tell there's a lot of Eastern design.
Did you play the original at all?
I didn't play the original at all. And from someone I was talking to that actually played the original, they said that the second one wasn't as good. But I thought that there were some mechanics in the game that I really like from a movement standpoint. Like there's wall running in there.
The movement's insane.
Yeah, like there's like dashing in the air, like mid-air dashes. It's just crazy movement. But the thing that kind of hit with me was like latency seems really bad. I played one game where it was okay, and the very next game I played, it was pretty laggy, to say the least. The other thing that I thought was pretty cool was when you queued for a match, you could do different, like simultaneously search all of the playlists if you wanted to, or let's say you wanted to choose two, you could choose two and queue up for both of them. And then whatever one it puts you in first is how they kind of do their matchmaking, which I thought was pretty cool. I hadn't seen anyone really do it like that before.
Maybe not. I guess depends on how the UI is set up. Team Fortress is kind of similar if you go through their matchmaking beta.
Yeah. Played some Loadout. I played today. I played 2048, which is Collins was just not happy with me saying that I played that at all. He's just like, that is the kids play version of threes. It's terrible. It's for noobs.
Here's the thing, like, it's a clone, and it's not as good of a game as far as like the actual mechanics go. So I was playing it after you said that, and I was like, yeah, you can play it just by mashing down and left
and
over and over.
He did. His words were pretty much spot on. I mean, he didn't even think about it. He was just sitting there going, doop 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 doop. All you heard was his keyboard, and he basically got done and he beat my score. I'm not gonna tell you guys what my score was, but he beat my score, and I was actually trying to play. But yeah, I played that, and then Flappy Bastion was so S2. I was playing Strife last week, and so they sent out their April Fool's joke email today, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna see what this is all about. So I downloaded it. It's basically Flappy Bird, but you're a dragon, and you just fly through these like little things, and it was that was it. That's all I got. That's all I played.
So I played some threes. Because Joey Rodriguez on YouTube, JMRodrig19 on YouTube, beat my score, which I had shown on the show a few episodes back. So he spammed me on Twitter showing his score off. But I got my score back before the update when so like what they do is they pull the tiles from a bag. So like you can get 3 1s, 3 2s, then 3 or 4 3s. And then it's random tiles are the last two. So like before, you could just, when you're flipping it in, you think you're getting a 3, but you get like 100 and something. So it completely screws up your setups because you have this high tile that you need to now clear back to wherever you're setting up your stuff. Now they show whenever it's over 3. So it's like, it just shows a plus sign. So they made it a bit, not, I guess it's easier, but it's also less random. So he beat me with the new update, so I grabbed the update and I've been trying to top him. Haven't been able to do it yet. So I got that, I have a goal now.
Got a challenge.
Yep. And then I picked up Age of Wonders 3, which just came out. And it's like a Civ kind of game set in a fantasy environment, but it's more combat focused, and the combat's like hex turn-based combat. I played that today because I've been sick. As you can see, I got my tea. And it's really good. I've finished the first campaign mission is all, but it took me like 3 tries, so it took forever. But I'd recommend it if you're into Civ games and you like fantasy stuff, because you can mix up classes and races however you like, so you get some crazy combos.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of, okay, it's not really even in the same vein. It's, I don't know if I tweeted about it, right? I saw this advertisement for League of Angels on YouTube, and so it was really obnoxious. It was hilariously obnoxious. But so there's like this little square Google ad on YouTube. I don't remember what I was searching for. Like either it could have been Titanfall stuff or loadout stuff. I don't remember what it was. It's probably loadout. And so this graphic, it does like a animation on it where like this lady's dressed pretty skimpy, right? Like you can kind of see maybe like a little bit of some boob stuff there. And so all over the animation, like it enlarges her boobs and then brings them back down. And I was just like, yeah, I was just like, really? Really? This is what you guys want to show off?
Did you click it?
No, I didn't click it. I ended up searching for a video. I mean, they in effect was the same. I was like, okay, I got to see what this is all about. So I ended up searching for a video. The top video that I find, and I guarantee it's from this advertisement, it has like 300-something thousand views. The gameplay is fine. I listened to the guy talk. He's talking about the game. He's talking about the game mechanics. And like one of the comments that was upvoted the most was like, listen, we're not downvoting your commentary. It's great. We're downvoting this fucking game. And I just couldn't help but laugh at it because of the obnoxious ad and then seeing all the downvotes because the gaming industry is the gaming industry. So, really funny. Really funny.
Also watch CoD Champs, which you can kind of segue into. I watched it pretty much every day just for a little bit, and then I watched the final 4.
Yep.
I was pulling for Envious.
So same here.
Especially when they got dropped into losers bracket round 1. Losers round 1. Clawed their way back.
15-1.
That doesn't happen often.
Yeah. 15-1 is what Fizz was saying. They did a hell of a job to get back. Now, the funny thing about that is, they were talking about the teams, and that was Rambo's second time in CoD Championship Finals, and it was Karma's second time in the Championship Finals. Rambo won with Optic back in the first CoD XP or whatever it was.
2012.
Yeah, so 2012, and then Karma won with Farico Impact last year, and so it was like potential two-time champions fighting off for it, and obviously Complexity just dominated Envious from start to finish. Like it wasn't a game really. It seemed like it was easy mode. Yeah, in comparison to last year, if you guys remember last year's episode where we talked about CoD Champs, I was like, oh my god, that was one of the best matches I'd ever seen. This year's was just kind of disappointing, but then again, Complexity has just been on fire, so it's like,
right.
I don't know what to say. I think they lost to Strictly Business like 3 weeks ago, whatever US champs were, 2 weeks ago. So they were the favorites there. I don't think there was any surprise there, but there's a couple things that I think I want to mention. First off, top 8 places got paid. Like, regardless of Envious getting second, they won $200,000 as a team. So, we have to mention this every single time from a competitive standpoint. Call of Duty is just killing it from a, financial standpoint, other than, like League or Dota. For shooters, it's all Call of Duty. And then Counter-Strike, I think, would be maybe I don't want to say a close second, but in second place as of right now.
In terms of event to event, I think Counter-Strike might be ahead of them. In terms of viewers, it's hard to say because all the COD stuff's masked under MLGs, so we don't get to see viewer concurrence and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I feel like COD is so Optic based. Like if Optic isn't in the finals or isn't, like if Optic had been knocked out before top 8, viewers would have just plummeted for the rest of the tournament.
That's probably a fair assessment because they are. Optic is YouTube for the most part.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good way to kind of look at things. But top 4 places, I'm gonna just name off the financial winnings here. First place was 400,000, so that's 100,000 per player. Second place was 200,000. Third place was 120,000. That was Optic. Fourth place, Strictly Business, was 100,000, and this was like nationals. Remember, nationals for MLG for Halo was 100,000. Yeah. So fourth place was 100,000. Strictly Business. Fifth place, Australian team. A lot of people were talking about them during the tournament as the team that kind of came out of nowhere.
They had a nice bracket.
Did they?
They had kind of a dream bracket as far as they had to beat some good US teams in order to get there and some good international teams, but they had by far the easiest bracket to top 8. But the fact that it's really hard to compete if you're from somewhere that doesn't have a lot of teams. All these US teams, they get to play against each other A, all the time online, and then B, every 2 or 3 months for whatever the biggest LAN is. Australia, they get maybe 2 or 3 tournaments a year with only the Australian teams. They don't get to see that top competition.
Exactly.
So it's still impressive, but they did have a pretty smooth bracket to get there.
Yo,
$70,000 for that.
70,000.
70K. That's insane.
Sixth place was FaZe with 50,000. Seventh place was the Rise Nation, 35,000, and eighth place was Vex Revenge with 25,000. Which I want to mention, 8th place is still more than a standard win for an MLG tournament as of, I don't know what they are as of late, but if you got first place for one of the circuit, is it still 20K? If you got first place,
20.
Okay, so if you get first place at a circuit event for MLG, you get 20K. 8th place for CoD Championships got 25, so that is still phenomenal for those players involved. Obviously we know a lot of people from casters to players. Again, I was definitely rooting for Envious. You know, I was still happy to see those guys in the finals. But yeah, if you guys watched it, some pretty nice matches. But
it's pretty crazy because I looked up, like the big headline afterwards was that Karma was now like the most earningest Call of Duty player ever.
right.
And he had like $215,000 earned, which is surprisingly low to me, considering that he got $100,000 last year for the championships and $100,000 again this year for the championships, which means that in the tournaments that weren't the big Activision sponsored mega tournaments, he's only made 15,000. Actually,
That's
less than that.
That's pretty weak, actually.
And like they've done pretty well.
How long
Like,
has he been on
that's a
Complexity?
first place UMG. The first place UMG is 1800. MLG Spring Championships is 3,000 for him. 1250 for the Gfinity's getting fourth place 2 times. So it seems like it's still like if that tournament were to disappear, COD wouldn't be in trouble, but it would suck for all of them.
Right.
Like considerably.
As opposed to something like Counter-Strike, I think, which if you looked at their top earnings player, I don't know what his number or figure is. I think that they have a more stable tournament ecosystem than, you know, Call of Duty. Anyone on the console scene, really. I mean, without CoD Champs, I think that kind of falls apart. Which same way that you saw Halo, Gears, and all the others kind of fall apart. But at least
for comparison, Get Right, who's a top CS player, he earned 43,000 from 23 different tournaments last year, and they don't have like a super mega tournament equivalent yet. Although they've been getting bigger and bigger. He won $10,000 from EMS Katowice, whatever, last week or last month.
What was the DreamHack? You know, DreamHack had that 250,000.
Yeah, but he was 100K for first.
100K, okay.
So 20,000 a player. It's still like it just puts in perspective how insane the $1 million is.
Yeah.
When it's like, yeah, this is the equivalent of an entire year's earning for a top Counter-Strike player in one tournament for third place. It's a bit insane. But if that tournament were to go away, then it'd be rough. Which is how I feel about, like, it's the same thing. Like, if League went away, it would hurt them a ton. Although that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Right.
Because they're so built around that. If the international went away, Dota would be a little hurting. I mean, like, there's tournaments all over the place, but nothing on that scale.
We need more Wimbledons and tournament style stuff that is big cash prize pots.
Yeah.
More of it. All right, so that's CoD Champs. Let's go ahead and go to Oculus. This is just news with Oculus. I'm kind of skipping down towards the end. Oculus VR. So, you know, I think we talked about them last week with the Project Morpheus and thing that Sony is doing with VR. But, you know, last week Facebook bought them for $2 billion. And so there was a lot of fallout about it. Colin and I had a discussion about, you know, why some people may be upset about it, especially considering it was a Kickstarter, basically utopian dream for those people that got involved. And, you know, a lot of them feel cheated, robbed, want in on the cuts, you know, think the company is going to go, you know, going to change its vision and it won't be the same, which I think there's a lot of good cause for concern there. But there's a couple things that have kind of developed as of late, and I got some links here for you guys. One, this is from Polygon. There's a number of Valve employees, this will be, I think, the third with this most recent, that are leaving Valve and going to Oculus. And then we saw, obviously, Carmack leave id and go to Oculus as well. But it seems like they're getting a lot of high-profile hires, and I don't know if that is a good thing or a bad thing for everyone. You know, my general assessment of it, you know, just kind of looking at it, is I think that more devs are starting to possibly buy into the idea of VR being the next step for gaming. And so you're seeing a lot of high profile resignations or leaves from companies and studios and then going to Oculus. You know, Carmack kind of said that, and this is another thing, he actually spoke about it. And I can't remember if you and I were kind of talking about what does Carmack think about it since he had just left id, was he disappointed or whatever. He seems, based on this, kind of excited.
The weird thing is that he said he didn't have anything to do with the decision.
Right, but...
And he's their chief technology officer or whatever.
Right, and so in the article that I read, he said that he actually spoke with Mark Zuckerberg a week before the acquisition or whatever. So, you know, you gotta kind of wonder how much information he's kind of, you know, providing there. Like, what did they talk about? Was he the deciding factor? Maybe, oh, yeah, you guys are definitely at the cutting edge. I really see the potential there. So you got to kind of wonder what that conversation was like. But here's the article to Carmack, for those of you guys interested. But it's something that, again, you know, the thing I was kind of hooked on with the Oculus was the Omni. It's something that and inherently you want it to be good. Like, you really want it to be good. You want to believe. But, like, that skeptical part of me from being burned too many times is still have me, like, you know, I don't really want to invest in it. But then you get all these high-profile leaves. You know, one of the guys that left, Colin, that from Valve, and it might have been the guy that was in this article. I want to say his name is Austin or Mike, one or the other, worked on Gears, worked on Halo, and then worked on something else. But he was at Microsoft Studios, and now he's over at Oculus. So, you know, there's a number of people that have, like, some pretty substantial, you know, credibility behind, you know, what, you know, projects they worked on, you know, potential positions or whatever that they were in and that they're going to for Oculus and stuff like that. So I kind of am starting to be like, okay, they're starting to get a lot of talent around this. What are they going to produce? And, you know, the thing that I'm also thinking about is, from a developer standpoint, are they really going to be pushing first-party products, kind of like a Nintendo, or do you think that they're going to rely on third-party?
Like a benchmark kind of thing, like Unreal did, like Epic does with Unreal, where it's like, I don't know if it'd be one game or if it'll just be ideas, but just kind of like, here's some stuff which we found works well and how we implemented it and that kind of stuff. That's the vibe that I've gotten, but they keep hiring more and more gaming people, so I don't know.
Exactly. So that's the thing. That's like, what are they doing? Are they going for the and some people have compared it to a Valve. You know, they want it to be the ecosystem for VR, and I don't really know if that's what they're going for. But you know, there's a lot of questions around Oculus, so I'm really interested to see, like, how things develop over the next, like, 6 to 8 months. And kind of revisiting, you know, picking, like, who they pick up and stuff like that. But, you know, I really highly encourage you guys on Twitch to kind of check out some of the hires that they've gotten, you know, pulling from Valve. Obviously, Carmack was a huge one. And just kind of see the team that they're assembling and kind of talking about it. And this kind of reminds me of, like, and I hate to bring years into the discussion, but you take Black Tusk, for example. All we've gotten so far is Rod, right? Like, we don't know anyone else. And then you hear stuff like, yeah, they're getting this and this and this. And it's like, man, I wish I got some information about, you know, hires for, you know, other studios like that would be really impactful and important to me. But obviously, Oculus is the hot shit right now. So everyone wants to talk about that.
Yeah, I was going to just drop a link in chat. It was a nice video wrap-up I saw of the VR stuff that's being shown at GDC. And covers Oculus, covers Morpheus, covers even an AR device that I can't remember the name of. So it's worth checking out. It was a very well-done video. Sorry, the Sulon Cortex was the AR one. And also the Omni, which they weren't too hot on. But good video to check out. I put the link in chat.
Then we got, let's see here.
And he was actually most blown away by the Sulon Cortex, actually, which was the AR, but it was in, like, a room. Like, they had a specific white box which they used for it, and then he was worried about running into walls the entire time.
Hold on, I'm gonna open this. I'm not gonna play it, but I'm just gonna.
Yeah, it's like 25 minutes.
25 minutes? So. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to play it. Okay. So let's go ahead and hit the next one. Again, we're firing through these. What do I have? I think I have PAX East. I'm just gonna say this is a really quick one. I'll be there with Edge of Reality loadout team, as you guys know. I'm the community manager there. You know, every time I go to PAX, there's usually some type of schedule conflicts with the show, some form or another. Any event I go to, but so my plan as of right now is to see what's new. Obviously, I'm going to try to hit a number of devs and games that are upcoming or that haven't been highly publicized yet, and that we can kind of get a scoop on and kind of talk about on the show. That's what I like to do every time I go to an event like this. We are going to be obviously showing off our games, so I'll be at a booth a lot, kind of talking with people. I know a number of people on Twitter have already been like, hey, I saw those t-shirts that you posted. I'll be there. I want a t-shirt or, I want whatever cards you guys got. So, if you guys see me there, if you're going to be there, make sure to give me a holler, tweet me, do whatever. And we can kind of hang out. I plan on trying to get some drinks with some subs and some different people I know in the industry and whatnot. So I'm looking to have a good time when we go out there. I usually always do. So PAX East in Boston, that's not this upcoming weekend, but the following weekend, which is like April 11th through the 13th. And I'm gonna try to stop by the Twitch booth too and see if I can get some FaceTime for loadout there too. So maybe we'll be on that schedule.
Nice. I wonder if there's been anything new shown off this year at PAX. Last year there was a few things, but it seems like in general things are shifting away from E3 and more towards PAX. As far as what people are interested in.
Yep. That seems to be the general consensus as well.
So that'd be cool. Unfortunately, I will not be there.
Colin, you gotta get out to one of these, man. We could do a show from PAX.
Need to get those press creds
on the floor
and not have to work the booth.
No, all we have to say is that you are an analyst. You're a gaming analyst on Frag Logic. I want to say, I don't know if you guys know this, and I haven't publicly talked about show stats. I think lifetime views for the show is probably eclipsed 150,000, something like that, views. Right. So, I've been chugging along past year or so. Happy with it. What's up, Mace? Let's go ahead and change this up. Let me make sure I get this topic correct. Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls. Dude, we're blasting through this, Colin. Colin's all. I'm not as
verbose as usual because I'm preserving my throat.
Yeah, all sick. But I do have that topic I wanted to talk about. Make sure I write that one down. Did that fit? It did fit. Sweet. Make sure I add that. That'll be an easy way for me to remember. Alright, so Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls came out last week? Is that right? 25th?
Yeah, I think that's right.
26th? I want to say it came out after the show or the same day as the show. But I have not played it yet. This is only things that have been discussed with me, from reviews I've read. Obviously, Tins has been playing it. Wraith is playing it. His brother Devin is playing as well. And it seems like, from kind of looking at Twitch, gauging, I've been watching on Twitch a little bit here and there, gauging interest, it seems like this is the Diablo that people have been asking for. Like, when it first came out, I think everyone was upset about the always online thing, right? Because the launch was not very good. And then the auction house stuff, and then the loot dropping was not very good either. There's a lot of complaints about the system that they had created for Diablo 3, and I think the vision that everyone had in their game. I think most people just wanted to play Diablo 2 again, for the most part, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, from what I've been reading on reviews, what people have been kind of saying to me personally is like, this is the Diablo that I wanted from the get-go. And I jotted down a couple notes from it. I mean, there's an adventure mode where you can access, get access to all waypoints across all acts. There's bounty side missions. Apparently, there's this new area called the Nephilim Rift, where, hold on, let me close this because you guys can hear that. The Nephilim Rift, where you get random mobs from like all over the game, and there's different like tiles and effects and stuff that go on, and from the few discussions that I've seen about it, it seems like it's like the ultimate badass dungeon area. So I mean, it seems like the end game stuff that, you know, once we got, remember when we got to end game and we were like, this is it? Like, man, this kind of sucks. Like,
yeah.
And that was like, and that was what, 2 years ago?
Act 4 sucked. Act 4
Yeah,
was right.
Act 4. Yeah, it was like, I don't know, it was just something about it that really turned me off to the game initially, and I just stopped playing. And here's a funny story. My account was actually, I was locked out of it. Like I had stayed permanently logged in, and someone actually sent me a message. Was Mark from eBash. He sent me a message like, dude, do you know that you're logged in on your account on Diablo? This is like a year later. And I'm like, what? I haven't played Diablo in months. He's like, well, somebody must have hacked your account. So I had tried to log in like, I don't know, maybe 5 months ago or something like that. And it was like, your account has been banned. So that's my account status. But I'm kind of interested to see if you guys, you know, on chat or on YouTube, if how you guys are enjoying it, if you guys have been playing it, and what's your like general consensus on Diablo 3. Colin, I don't know if have you spent any time playing? Did you at all like install it recently?
I've watched some guys at work play. I've listened to Sean and Dev play, but I have no interest in picking it up, partially because I'm still sour about the launch.
And that's how I feel.
Like, I was really hyped for the launch. I was one of those people that picked it up midnight, didn't get to play it till 2 days later. But I was on at midnight, suffering through the same shit everyone was. And then I played through, stormed through the game, got to that same brick wall that everyone got to in Inferno, and didn't want to farm because it seemed like you needed to grind beyond your level in order to get it. You could use exploits, or you had to buy stuff from the real money auction house. And like, I quit playing, had no interest in going back. It seems like they fixed almost everything that I would have complained about, but I just don't have the interest anymore.
New loot system.
It's not new and shiny, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's the same game, just with some turtle wax.
If you ticket blaze, you can get it back. Still ain't playing. So yeah, I mean, you basically summed up how I felt about the game, and I think that's one of the reasons that obviously initial impressions with the game are so important, because I bought my PC. Like, you remember this.
Yeah.
I bought my PC to play Diablo 3. Like, that was the whole reason I purchased my PC. I was strictly console for a really long time. And I went out and purchased my PC. Well, custom, bought it, custom built, whatever. Because of Diablo. And I was just really hyped for the game. So obviously not being what I remembered with Diablo 2 was like a big detrimental kind of side effect to it. And I don't really have the interest to play it. Like, I hear Tent's like, man, it's so good. It's like, dude, it's like 2011 is when that game came out, right? That sounds right. 2012. 2013. 2012. It's like May 2012 when that game came out. And it's 2014. It's about to be 2 years old. And it's like, I'm on other stuff right now. I don't even have a remote interest in playing it because, like, I'm on this now. So for me, it's hard to get back into games that you know, release an update. And this is like, I think every developer kind of struggles with this. It's like, how do you recapture your audience once you initially had them? And it's like that window is so small to hook them. And it's like, there's new stuff coming out. Like, I want to play Watch Dogs. I want to play obviously Titanfall. I want to play some other PC game. Elder Scrolls Online is coming out, like, what, the 4th? And it's like, I'm thinking about playing that. And it's like, I don't have time to play any Diablo if I want to play all that stuff. So it's like, why? So,
and like for me, even if I was going to spend time, I might consider going Path of Exile instead. You know, like something fully new and something that I haven't already played through. Because, I mean, if I pick it up, then I'll be playing like 75% the same content that I played before. It just has slightly different mechanics.
right.
So it's like, it's not like you're getting a new game. Because a lot of the stuff is endgame related, you know?
Right.
So
But,
I'm not interested, I guess.
So,
They've
again,
done a good job, though. They've done a good job admitting all their mistakes and fixing them.
yeah.
It's just, they
The
shouldn't have
turnaround-
been made in the first place.
The turnaround is real. It's a top stream game right now. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but it's certainly up there. The last thing that I just absolutely found hilarious, and I don't know if I want to link to it. Titanfall is dead? I don't know if I want to link to it, but I just want to talk about this as something that really pisses me off in the gaming scene, just in general. Every shooter, not even shooter. Every community that I've been a part of has like these players that just feel it like necessary always to talk about a game being dead. Regardless of the population, regardless of the situation, regardless of how new it is, regardless of so many other factors, other than just like feeding the I don't know, upsetting. They're more like trolling, right? Just upsetting the player base that is playing the game or actively involved. And I just don't see why. Like, they'll be like, hey, you know, my 5 friends that play this game, we don't play this game anymore because XYZ, you guys fucked it up. Like, that's the type of feedback you'll see. You guys fucked it up. I'm not playing this shit anymore. You guys fucking suck. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. And it's like, really? Man, I didn't know I killed your mom like that. I didn't realize, like, it was so detrimental to you that you can no longer function as a human being. I didn't know it was that serious for you. That's the type of feedback. Like, I was reading through the Titanfall forums and I saw this game is dead, and it's like, there were so many different things that, you know, you could pick it apart. But one thing that I saw a couple of people talking about was that they haven't released the sales numbers. I don't know why they haven't done that. But the thread that I was reading was just talking about like a bunch of balance issues. Like, the carbine is the only weapon that people can use. There aren't enough abilities. The campaign isn't very good. Why does it have to be, you know, structured in this? Why aren't there more weapons? Or the argument, this is just Call of Duty with jump mechs or jump packs or whatever, and mechs. And so, like, you see all that stuff and it's like, I can't help but fathom, like, when people see a game like this, you know, that my initial gut instinct is like, the players that end up doing this are the ones that are either playing Call of Duty or playing their favorite game, and they hear about this game, right? Oh, this is the Call of Duty killer. Oh, I'm so sick of Call of Duty. I don't want to play Call of Duty anymore. All my friends are on it, but I don't want to play Call of Duty. We're all going to get this new game, right? They go get the new game. They play that game for a little bit, and then they go, man, this game fucking sucks. Like, they're just trying to, you know, play up Call of Duty. They're just trying to play up Battlefield. They're just trying to mimic this. They're just trying to do this and this and this. And then they go back to those games. Like, they go back to the game that they just said they didn't want to play anymore. They're like, oh, I'd rather go play Call of Duty again. I'd rather go play Battlefield again. It's
ignoring
like,
all the flaws that got them to leave the game in the first place.
Exactly. Like, it's so incredibly annoying. And the same stuff bothers me about the arena shooter community. They will not rally behind a new arena shooter, right? They'd rather play old-ass Quake 3 or whatever iteration of Quake instead of moving on. And that's one of the things that I think helps the, I hate to segue into the competitive Call of Duty community, but that's one of the things that have helped them make transitions is like, it's on a yearly cycle, and it's like the new is what is being promoted all the time. That's what the big tournaments are for. So you're forced to play that. Like, you can't go back and be like, you know, I want to play Halo 3, or I want to play this because that's what everyone else is, or that's what had the best competitive setting. It's like, dude, that's not what people are going to be advertising. Right. So that bothers me about it. So that, you know, that aspect of it bothers me. The other thing is, like, people always get caught up on old ass mechanics from games that they remember as the glory days of when they first got involved with a game, or this is their first time in a game, or this is their first third-person shooter, this is their first experience. And it's like, it's your first experience. It's awesome because it's your first experience. Like, you are negating everything, and I think Gears of War is a great example of this. You are negating everything that fucking sucked about Gears of War. And I don't mean in a way that's like the game sucked, but like all of the flaws or bugs with the game that you ignored because you were in that euphoric moment, and you have this game up on a pedestal, right? And we saw this kind of with Judgment. Like, you didn't like Judgment, and I thought Judgment was okay. I didn't think it was a bad game, but like I always say, like, if Judgment released when Gears of War released, I think people would kind of have that same euphoric moment. And so, like, when you see people saying like this game is dead, or this game is dead, or this game is dead, I always feel like they have this idealistic, falsely idealistic, like, game on a pedestal that they're comparing it to. That either has flaws that they're overlooking, like you said, or something that they're not, that's just not translating to a current, I guess, game environment, game design environment.
They're ignoring like how those old mechanics would play with the new mechanics, and just complaining specifically about what's different. Which is, yeah, that's usually what it comes down to. It's you're just comparing and complaining about stuff that's different than this ideological thing you have in your mind that may not even be close to reality.
Right.
Like Gears is another good example because people remember the shotgun battles in Gears 1. But like, if you go back and play, like, it misses half the time that you shoot the gun. It misses, for no fucking reason.
It was inconsistent
and that
at
code
times.
Was horrendous. Like, yeah, it was fun. It still plays okay. Like, if you go back and play, then even from a non-nostalgia perspective, it's like, oh, this is fun. But like, there's so many little things that if a game shipped with those things now, you would be complaining so fucking hard.
Right. But it's
because you have something to compare it against, right? Like, you have something that was better, and then it got progressively worse or changed from how you remember it. And it's the same thing. Like, I really dislike the fact that Titanfall went with realistic weapons, if only because it made it so they can compare it to every game that has modern military guns. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the gunplay is going to be compared to COD by players and by community, specifically because the weapons look the same as COD and they fire similar to COD. So you're going to automatically draw those comparisons, even though there's nothing before to compare it against. Where with Titanfall 2, people are going to compare it against Titanfall 1, and you're just going to have this same
You're going to have this, right, you're going to have this, oh my god, Titanfall 1 is so much better. Like, the weapons feel so much better. They're so original. And it's like, you were just saying that this was the, like, yeah. Do you remember how many episodes we talked about what people would say about Gears? Like, it's so frustrating to me to see people talk down about Gears 3, which we like, how many times that you and I have to sit down and be like, look, this is what's wrong. These are the things that need to be fixed, and they could be completely bliss, or that, hey, the weapon balance, yeah, sure, it needs to be tweaked, but we should be doing this or whatever. And then people will be like, you know what, this game sucks. Gears 2 or Gears 1 was better. All right, then Gears Judgment comes out, and then it's like, oh my god, Gears 3 was such an amazing game. If they only would have done this one thing, man, I can't believe how good Gears of War 3 is. Oh god, it's so good. Yeah. And it's like, come on. Like, that's the stuff that just gets under my skin like no other. If there's one thing in the gaming just industry as a community, from a community standpoint, from players, just gamers in general, it's that notion, that idealistic pedestal that they have these games on that are just not even remotely close to, you know, like, reality. I feel like nostalgia is good, but like, realizing what a game is for what it is a lot better approach to it. And I think that's kind of where maybe some reviewers are a little bit more grounded.
Multiplayer reviewers suck, just globally.
Yeah, that's true. I would agree with that. That there's a serious lack of reasonably good multiplayer reviewers. But the post on Titanfall being dead is just so obnoxious. Like, the game is 2 weeks old,
It's 3 weeks.
3 weeks old, and probably the #1 most played game on Xbox One.
By far, I imagine. I
By
doubt it's close.
I mean and you know,
They
Colin
sold
and I
almost 1 million copies on Xbox One alone.
yeah, and Colin and I basically said the only game that would probably be close at this point would be Battlefield.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just I don't even know, and then the Xbox 360 version isn't even out yet, so there's another however many millions of copies that could potentially be sold, but it being dead, I don't know what the PC environment looks like. You know, there's so many different PC shooters to play. There's already a negative, I think, association to Call of Duty and PC players.
It's also not a PC game. It wasn't made for PC.
It wasn't made for PC as well.
You can tell blatantly that it was ported over to PC.
So I can't speak for the PC community. I play the game on PC. I can find matches. I don't know if it feels like I'm finding less matches or it's harder to find matches. When I search, I get into a match.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a couple things that I think maybe people are kind of looking at. You know, one of the things that I saw were that there were no big name YouTubers that were playing the game religiously, big name streamers that were playing the game religiously.
And both those make sense because the install base is smaller for both a new franchise and also for a new console. So it makes sense that the audience is going to be smaller to begin with, and then the amount that you have to convert over to your channel when it's something that's new, there's not really any community outlets out there. That's something we've run into a bunch. So it makes sense that stuff's all not really there yet, like big YouTubers playing the game. And I can see how that would also affect perception, though.
Yeah, you know, if you're following T. Martin and he's posting Call of Duty videos, and every once in a while he's thrown in a Titanfall one, or if he's not at all, then you're probably like, man, he doesn't like Titanfall at all, so that game must suck. Then again, he doesn't have the viewer base there to be watching Titanfall videos, so why would he be encouraged to do so when most of his install base is Call of Duty? Or, I mean, you got to think about that across the board for every player. So, you know, you got X Factor doing Battlefield, or Drifter, or Level Cap Gaming. Level Cap does Battlefield, X Factor does Battlefield, Drifter does a little bit of Call of Duty, Battlefield, and now he's doing Titanfall stuff. But you got to think about what their install base is watching. And like you said, where's the most install base for the system itself, and then how many of those players on the Xbox One, whatever the 3 million are, 4 million, maybe, who knows what the system is at now, have actually purchased Titanfall, and then how many potential views are you going to get? Like, some of your, and this is a great example for my channel. Like, I have 31,000 subscribers, which is a pretty good number. Relative to, you know, a lot of other people on YouTube, but it's a minuscule number relative to the higher guys on YouTube. But my install base is Gears of War centric. I could post a Gears of War video right now, and it would probably get more views than most of my Titanfall videos are doing right now, because that is my install base. If I post Titanfall, they're like, I don't even play this game. I'm not even interested in this game. I don't even know if he's good at this game. He's only good at Gears. I don't want to watch that. I'm going to watch Gears. So that, you know, just knowing that I kind of have struggled from the same situations, I know how these guys think. I've talked to them. So, you know, flying them out there to do promos and do all this stuff isn't going to help, really. It's just not going to help, because in the long run, especially, and here's the other thing with this, Colin, have they done a very good job promoting any videos? Like, anything?
I was actually laughing because I think it was the first time I've seen them promote a video like the last 2 weeks. And it was on April Fool's, in the middle of like the April Fool's news blitz. So it just got swallowed up with everything else. It was one video. It's like, hey, check out this video. But yeah, so, they haven't promoted shit. Like, they haven't promoted anything. They do the Titan Wall thing, but they aren't really driving anything there, and it's not really a good outlet anyways. The website's awful. There's no major fan sites. Like, there's still not like one centralized place you go. The Reddit's the closest thing you get, and that's obviously not that big because it's all mostly PC guys. So yeah, I mean, it's like if you're looking at it from a there's not much content being created for this. Not as much content as these mega franchises that have built fan bases for several years. Like, yeah, I guess it's not necessarily dead, but it's more like it hasn't grown up yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's still the baby status, which is expected because it's a new franchise.
And it's 3 weeks old, as you put it. So,
but it's not a dead baby.
It's
just a baby, just a baby that needs to do some growing.
So yeah, I mean it was kind of ranty. It's one of my rants. It's just something that I didn't really put anything together. It was just something I was like, you know what, Colin, I meant to tell you about this, dude. I saw this thread. Somebody was like, Titanfall is dead, and I was like, what? So you know, I don't know how you guys kind of feel about it. I think that obviously it's really early in the life cycle. I will say that there are a lot of games that are going to compete for you know, FaceTime, playtime with gamers, holiday season and beyond. So they're definitely gonna there's gonna be a struggle for, you know, what games stay on top for Xbox Live or PlayStation for that matter. Here, well, we got Watch Dogs in 2 months, and then you got what, 6 months from now you got to think Destiny is coming out on every platform, and that could be the new mega franchise. So it's like I don't know what's going to happen with the player base after that.
It's going to be the same guys, just like when they invited all the CoD competitive guys out, and then they realized that the game wasn't going to have monster tournaments right away. Then they aren't going to post videos because they can get the views on CoD. It's be the same shit. The same shit.
Same stuff. Same cycle.
Destiny's not going to be a competitive game either.
Same cycle.
Same cycle.
It's vicious cycle, guys. I kind of agree with Colin. I mean, you gave away the predictions before I wanted to give away the predictions, but fine.
If they had shown, I mean, yeah, it was basically kind of brought up the fact those CoD guys haven't posted any Titanfall videos in the last 2.5 weeks. Like after the first week the game was out, all those guys they invited out to that showcase, and all of them after the event were like, no private matches, not gonna be competitive, don't care. Like that's the consensus that you got from almost everyone that was there.
Yep.
And it wasn't necessarily there's not private matches, it was that there's clearly not going to be a tournament anytime soon, so they don't care to play. It's the same thing with Destiny.
Yep. Watch Dogs is in a month. What did I say? 2 months? Well, I thought it was at the end of the month. Bay, isn't it like the 20th, 19th? Give me 6 weeks. Give me 6 weeks at least. Give me 6 weeks, Bay.
It's gotten delayed so many times. It's May 27th.
Look at that. That's 2 months, dude. It's the first. Come on, Bay. Come on, Bay. Once May hits, you still gotta wait 26 days. You might as well just round that up, Bay. Go ahead and round it up. So that's my little rant. I don't know. Some people might agree. Some people might disagree. You know, that's up for discussion. You know, I'm not trying to say that one way is right or the other. I'm not saying that you don't have the right to say a game is dead. Your reasons have to be solid. Like, you can't be like, me and my 3 friends don't play this game anymore, because it's like, you are 3 of how many? Like, how many? And so many people don't realize this. There is such a small, let me reiterate this, small percentage of a user base that posts on forums.
Yeah. So
small. And you may think that you're the voice of everyone. You may think you're the voice of the people. It is so small. I can rest assured you. So small. So small. Piquito. Okay, I'm gonna go to Q&A.
You wrap this up so I can get some more tea.
What's up, Ghost Reaper?
Warface, 25 million users, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's crazy, right?
It's a lot of users, and they're not on Steam. And they just started up the Xbox 360 beta last week.
Browser based.
Open beta. If they bring that to Xbox One, I think it'd be huge.
Really?
I think it could be huge.
It's just gonna get compared to Battlefield, Call of Duty, and now Titanfall.
Yeah, it's
fun though.
I feel like it's almost a good Call of Duty. As backwards as it is. Doesn't it kind of feel like a good Call of Duty? Like
I like the game modes. Like I played the crap out of
Call of Duty
the
distilled,
bomb.
right? Like it's distilled down to its basics.
Yeah, like it's
And then
it's
they
more
added sliding.
Colin. It's more like a Counter-Strike than a Call of Duty.
I guess
It's more.
I mean,
Think about the game modes.
if you condense COD down to all of its most basic elements, you kind of get Counter-Strike.
That's true.
Like recoil patterns and stuff is more COD-y.
You guys ever think about taking the audio of the shows and turning them into podcasts? Yes, we have. I have had many a request to do that. But the thing is, if I do that, I'm gonna for sure make it 99 cents on iTunes. So then I'm gonna force people to go to YouTube. It's like, why would I listen? Why would I pay for this when I can just go watch it on YouTube? So that's what my line of thinking is. Like, if you want to support the audio and the podcast process, which not a lot that goes into it, but it'd be a little bit of fixing some stuff on my end.
I was gonna say, honestly, our audio is not that great.
Yeah, we have to fix some audio stuff on our end in order to do podcasts. Why do you think companies are jumping to all the VR stuff and not much is happening with augmented reality? I feel augmented is a nice step between the two and it has a lot of potential.
I feel like it's different products that'll work well with each. Like gaming on augmented reality isn't that great to me. And the concept of it, like I haven't seen a good AR game example ever.
So, Colin, here's where I think augmented reality is starting to catch on, and this is a April Fool's like good example, but the Google Maps thing with Pokemon, right? So, no, I'm being dead serious. Like Google Maps augmented reality. I don't remember the name of that game. What is the name of that game that you can play with Google Maps? Starts with an I think.
Are you talking about the one where you can control the areas and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I feel like, Chappie, that augmented reality is getting closer to like your mobile. Like I feel like it's like it can be better used in real world situations. So mobile is something that you take everywhere. So like you have like camera games, and you even think about this, like if you scan a barcode, that's like an augmented reality game. Like you might not realize it, but that's how developers kind of think about it. Like they want you to do things like that because it is like the word, I don't want to say addicting, but it creates habits kind of that kind of reward you similar to, you know, achievements in games. So I feel like mobile is embracing augmented reality, but like console stuff, you can't really do the same things. So it makes more sense to go mobile with augmented and VR with like developers like, you know, id or whoever, Carmack and all those dudes jumping ship.
Really, the next step is augmented virtual reality.
What are you gonna wear a Google Glass? There you go.
Yep, Google Glass.
Google Glass.
Under the Oculus, have augmented reality as a heads-up display for my virtual reality.
Did I talk about the show where the lady got pulled over for wearing her Google glasses?
Yeah. Could you imagine if she was wearing both?
Yeah. People's Mafia. Did you guys see the news article about Microsoft Studio called Leap Experience Pioneers? I just wanted to know if you like the logo.
No, I didn't see.
I haven't. I know people got to link me to that. You know, Phil Spencer, head of Xbox division now. That's some news.
It's a pretty decent logo. I'm not a fan of how some of the letters bleed together and the other ones don't. That's my.
Colin is. There you go.
That's my 2-second logo review.
There you go. Colin is the guy that reviews design stuff, artistic design. Do you think the next Gears game will live up to the hype? I don't feel like there's been a hype built yet.
It has almost zero expectations going into it, so we'll see
I
how it goes. I think it's going to keep zero expectations till they show something.
Once they show something, Ghost Reaper, how about you hit me up with that question again?
Zombie Jesus wants to see a sub 20-second run on Airbase. I think I did one on stream the other night. It wasn't very exciting though. I just ran down the middle of the map, wall running, no bunny hops or anything.
Are we seeing Captain America this weekend?
No, fuck Captain America. It's the worst. We've talked about this before.
He doesn't. We talked about this. I think it was in Thor, right?
Yeah.
Because Colin and I saw.
He's the worst superhero. Like, not interesting at all, and the movie depiction of him isn't interesting either. It's awful. Zero interest.
So I like Captain America, but not as a superhero. More as like an idealistic role model, I think. For what he kind of represents, kind of like Superman, right? Like, I like Superman as a superhero, but like his idealistic style of I'm not gonna hurt anyone, I'm gonna take everyone to jail. You're gonna just abiding by the book, I guess, despite being able to basically crush every human being. Yeah, so it's like I kind of gravitate. I'm a sucker for that type of stuff, so that's kind of why I like Captain America, but he sucks as a superhero. I don't really like him as a superhero.
It's awful.
Yeah,
Warface has bomb game type.
It does have bomb.
It's probably the best mode too.
By far. That's all I played.
It's like 12 players though, which sucks. It's
Dude.
ridiculously big teams. APA, I think.
6v6.
I thought the teams were bigger in some servers.
Maybe it was ABA.
I
feel like it was 6v6. Anyway, I liked the clutches. Like,
yeah, it's fun.
1v6, 1v7, whatever it was. I had that happen a couple times.
Just go sliding around all the corners and clutch. That's all I did was knee slides in that game. Just sliding around.
Phil Spencer's the best choice for the job, Mace. I agree. I think he's my top 3 choices. There's a couple other people.
Phil way better than Don Matrix.
That's
Phil's a gamer, it seems like.
the only other person I would, and he doesn't seem like he's probably in that role because he's been so front facing. I would like to see Major Nelson be way higher up on the poll because he actually plays games. He knows how to do stuff.
Major Nelson?
Yeah, like, but he's a personality though, so that's my. Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what, Colin? What am I talking about? He was head of security for Account Recovery at one point. He helped us with our accounts.
He wasn't head of security.
Yes, he was.
It was Steven Toulouse.
Then why was
he put us in contact with him?
Oh, why am I remembering that differently?
No, it was 2-Step or whatever his name was.
Okay.
Step two, maybe.
Am I excited? I'm excited for Watch Dogs. Colin, I think, was less excited after that trailer, right?
Yeah,
the trailer kind of brought it down to you for you.
Last trailer looked very GTA and uninspired, but I'll probably still play it.
Now that you've played Titanfall a good amount, do you think that it will have a long lifespan, a consistent player base for either platform? I think it will have a consistent player base. I don't know if the player base will be bigger than some of the other franchises out there. I don't know if it'll be bigger than Battlefield. Might be on par. It's certainly not going to be bigger than Call of Duty.
I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be. Yeah, it's not going to. Not until TF2 at least would you have a shot at COD.
Right.
But I think Xbox One's still selling, and it's going to keep selling all the way till next Christmas. And they're going to keep doing DLC. So like the player base should stay pretty steady, even as people drop off. As other people, like, it's the must-buy game if you buy an Xbox One.
Yep.
Like, think about it that way. Like, if you buy an Xbox One, you're probably buying Titanfall, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, that's the only game to buy if you're a shooter fan.
And it'll be like that for the next.
All the way till Destiny.
Destiny, yeah. I mean,
and
so
if you're the kind of person that buys Destiny, you're probably buying Titanfall too. You're probably going to get both. So I don't think it's. Yeah.
Okay, let's have a vote for this, KO. How many people think that Colin should shave his beard off? If it was November,
that'd be a wonderful idea. I shaved it really short in like October, November, if you remember.
Yeah. You got to wait till then. Then we can have that vote again, Reaper.
I need this to grow in more. Like that's what bothers me.
The I'm not gonna hurt anyone superheroes are the worst. Just kill the bad guys and rid us of their evils. They be villains themselves.
Did you see Killer Instinct going to
Iron Galaxy Studios?
Yeah, Iron Galaxy.
Yeah, I sent Dave a tweet saying like, "Congrats, dude! Like, I was really happy for him."
They'll do work.
Did I try out Fulgore on Killer Instinct? Koopa, I'm so sorry, dude. I have not played Killer Instinct since January. It's been that long. I'd probably get my ass, I don't know if I get my ass whooped, but I'd probably get beat down pretty hard. Oh, man. And The Division? Colin, The Division? Oh, man. We still got The Division, Colin?
That won't be until like 2015. It wouldn't surprise me if it was fall 2015.
Oh.
Got some time. We're going to get some Destiny squads running, and then those squads will be running shit in the streets of New York City or Chicago or whatever.
I think it's New York.
It's New York. It's New York. Yeah.
It's New York.
Yeah. So our Destiny squad's gonna be running the streets. Gotta watch out if you get dropped into a server with us.
Do you think loadout will come to Xbox One? I don't know. I can never rule it out. Always focused on PC right now, though. It's all our attention. Any gameplay features hoping Scout will bring back many, introduce something new to the franchise, to bring back the Galaxy control scheme or classic control scheme. It's too far out, Bay, dude. I don't know. I don't even know how much I'm going to talk about Gears, the new one. Talk about it some, I guess. I haven't even thought about control schemes for it. Killer Instinct now a Flash game. Iron Galaxy is cool. They got a studio here in Orlando. Yeah, I know. I think we were talking about Dave about that. He was telling us that they had that studio there.
Yeah.
Has there been a week where someone hasn't asked if loadout is coming to a next-gen console? If there has, we probably didn't field the question, because I don't remember answering that recently. And is that it?
We're done.
Hold on. Let me check YouTube. I've been ignoring YouTube. I'm sorry, guys. Titanfall is not addicting. That's its only problem. What's going on, guys? Nothing much. It's quiet over there on YouTube right now.
Armad, I don't think shooters that have released have been different enough to get away from the comparisons to COD and Battlefield. Like, that's what I think is happening. So, like, yeah, people keep asking for something different, and then, like, the things we're getting are kind of different, and then everyone just draws the comparisons like we were talking about earlier.
Right, so, like, I don't even know what art style you could do. Like, you can't do... You might be able to do cel-shaded, but then you get... Oh, man, that's just Borderlands.
I mean,
you can't do...
If Titanfall shipped with, like, sci-fi weapons, like, from an Unreal-style background, like, it would have felt completely different. To a point where you might have been like, okay, this is something different. It's not COD.
Maybe.
I think that alone would have been a massive change. Like, when's the last game you played that hasn't had assault rifles and carbines and snipers?
Loadout.
You guys do have... Well...
We do, but we also have pulse and beams, and that's the closest thing to would have been like Unreal back in the day. Shoot Mania, which okay, let me take that back. Let me take that back. Let me take that back. I was just playing, guys.
Even Halo, like when you distill it, is rifles and machine guns.
Well, Halo 4 though was like light rifle.
Yeah, that's a carbine.
And
suppressors and SMG.
What type of game mechanics though are you looking for? Like you're literally looking for the stuff that Loadout has, right? Like crazy weapons, but that are
I mean, I look
crazy
at
weapons
games
that
like
are.
Red Faction has some crazy ass weapons that were different. Unreal, Prey.
Prey did, yeah.
Prey had some cool stuff. Like they're kind of obviously there's some variants on current stuff. Like the acid gun was a shotgun, but it also fired a projectile. Even the assault rifle had a sniper alternate fire, if you remember.
Right.
There were
I guess
grenades. There were grenades that you could flip into proximity mines and throw, and then they crawl and like just the aesthetic, right? Like they didn't look like machine guns.
yeah, I think that's probably, considering that
Painkiller is another one. Yeah.
they're in space, they know hyperspeed, but they're sitting there using guns that look like they were from, 1995. So it's like,
Yeah.
I could definitely see where you're getting at.
Like I just want a Ripper. I want a shock rifle. I want, stuff that's just been way more inventive that came out like 15 years ago. For some reason, we're still copying stuff from real life in every single game. So I mean, like until a game goes out of their way to be something different, you're going to get compared to the other games. Especially like the biggest complaint is like people say the gunplay in Titanfall feels the same as CoD, and it's like yeah, because it's the same guns. Like they took out a bunch of the attachments. They made it so there's only like 2 assault rifles instead of 14. But in the end, like they fire the same as those other 2 equivalent assault rifles,
Right.
And it wouldn't matter if you changed the projectiles to blue and called them plasma rifles. Like it's still an assault rifle, right?
But then you're introducing I think you're introducing a learning curve that I think that perhaps Respawn. This is just me kind of theory crafting at this point, but I think that perhaps that they're intimidated to explore that realm because of the learning curve associated to that. If you threw those weapons into the game, sure, some people may gravitate towards it, but I'm going to tell you right now, I think that the vast majority of gamers would be like, they would still be like, man, this isn't Call of Duty. This game sucks, because they themselves are very terrible at trying to figure out how these new gun game mechanics work in this shooter that doesn't have movement mechanics that haven't been explored in the last 10 years. So it's like, it's bad enough, when you get us in a server and we're moving around flying on
until someone takes that risk, I think you're going to get compared to COD and Battlefield.
But here's the thing. I think people are scared. I think developers are scared to take that risk because you can't release a new Unreal these days and sell 1 million copies or have a 2 million user install base, concurrent user install base, because 100,000 people play them, and those 100,000 people will say, man, you know what, Unreal is just better. This goes back into my Titanfall Dead discussion. Like, they're going to compare it to Unreal and Quake, and they're going to say those games are better, and they're going to say, why don't you just play those games, or why don't I just go back and play those games? And not only that, but that install base of those 100,000 that would be playing it, they're like 40 now, 50 now. Like,
so you think instead of being compared to COD and Battlefield, it'd be compared to games that haven't been active in like 10 years, and that would still be negative?
Right. I don't think there's a solid solution. That's my personal opinion.
I feel like that's the direction that it has to be. I mean, like, the alternative obviously is doing something completely different. And that's the super risk, is if you try to like turn the FPS genre on its head. But I think that, like, I feel like being compared to Quake and Unreal and like that nostalgia that's associated with it is better than being compared to modern games, which you just played yesterday. Like, I feel like you're never going to win being compared to modern games that are really similar, because people already have their genre or their series, which they've grown up with and they've been active on. And it's a bit different when you, like, people aren't playing Unreal anymore. Like, it's fully in the nostalgia category, it's like 5 years out. So it's something that reminds them of Unreal that they can play today is different than, this reminds me of COD, I'm gonna go play COD. You know what I mean? Like, you don't jump back to Unreal. Like, that doesn't happen.
That could.
No one starts playing Unreal because it's like, oh, Unreal did this stuff better, I'm gonna go play Unreal. Like, no one does that.
I can see what you're saying
anymore. But
I can see that.
it's like, this is like COD. I'm gonna go play with my friends that are on COD right now. Like,
I can see that. But I still think
that's why I feel like, I mean, I can see why the risk is there. I can see why developers are hesitant to do it. But it needs to happen. Like, if you don't do it, then you're going to have that issue of being compared to COD and Battlefield, and you need to be substantially better in order to win people over. Not only that, but you have to be kind of flawless because people nitpick the shit out of stuff currently, which is kind of, I think, somewhat modern gaming thing in the past 5 or 6 years. People have started nitpicking like crazy.
Well, that and everyone has a voice now. You know,
Yeah.
social media really transformed everyone being able to have a voice. Here's the thing, you know, I keep going back to this, but like you're talking about, no one goes back to the games. So let's say within the last 5 years, right? There's been a handful of arena games that have had some different guns that have come out. Why aren't they sticking? Like, is it just like they don't have very good multiplayer? Like BioShock 2, for example. Remember the multiplayer in BioShock 2? Like,
Attack multiplayer onto a single player game with a franchise that everyone loved the single player for.
So you thought there was...
The fan base wasn't there for that at all.
Okay. Now that's a game, in my opinion, that had some pretty unique weapons and ideas about
The ability
shooters.
Yeah.
Right. There was Singularity. Remember that game? That was maybe 7 years ago.
I didn't play. I don't think that was recognized as a single player game or a multiplayer.
It was a
game.
multiplayer? You don't think so?
I don't think people consider it a multiplayer game. Like you played for the single
player.
player.
Multiplayer.
Yeah, but it had the time mechanics, right? Like that was the selling point for the game, was the single player's time mechanics.
Okay.
Like when they show trailers and stuff. Like there hasn't been a game that's pushed multiplayer. Like this is the same stuff we talked about before Titanfall was coming out. Like there hasn't been a multiplayer game that's really pushed things at all, except for Brink.
Which
Brink had really boring
Brink had a
weapons
lot
and class structure, but the movement was the selling point, and the movement wasn't perfectly fluid. I think was what everyone kind of agreed on.
Okay.
So I mean, like, no
Tribes Ascend.
Tribes they literally remade the game.
They remade the games, but you're gonna get comparisons to old Tribes, Shoot Mania.
Shoot Mania did some different stuff, but they went the route of just tearing down old school games into the most simple mechanics versus like taking a modern game and adding old school mechanics, which is more what I'm advocating.
Okay.
So it hasn't been done in that direction. Not fully. Like people have kind of dipped their toes in the water, but it hasn't been done on a big game that's built to succeed.
All right, 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah, which I think is a good description of like how Titanfall is like, and people keep using it's evolutionary but not revolutionary, right? Like that's
right.
Kind of again, it's almost consensus that they kind of push things forward, but they didn't really do anything that made it like, holy shit, this is different, you know?
Right.
Because they still grounded things in those COD and Battlefield mechanics that they knew were popular currently.
So, heard any news on Sunset Overdrive? No, Putchy, haven't. But started that rant, Colin. I'm gonna cut the show. Cut the show, guys. That was a pretty good discussion there. I like that. You guys can think about that one for a little while. I'm sure we'll get some people. Oh, by the way, Colin, you got some more haters on you for
on the Star Citizen.
On the Star Citizen. It's okay though.
Despite the fact
I'm a backer.
Despite the fact that I was reading from their release plan while we were talking about it.
I'm a backer.
Criticizing the fact that they have a ridiculously aggressive release plan and they haven't shown much. It's not, yeah.
But
they showed stuff from the dogfighting module from November, and then they delayed the dogfighting module in December. Just saying.
I'm a backer.
I was looking at the stuff. It's not like I don't follow all the news, but I at least check.
Get your keychain. I did it. I told you guys I would. Senior attending high school at Los Angeles and was wondering what could be the best major for entering the video game industry.
Computer science.
I would say that's damn near spot on. Computer science. A lot of computer science majors. Designers, programmers.
Even artists.
Even artists, yeah. Yeah, let me think about that. Even artists.
Especially tech art.
So, there you go. That's all we got for today's show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We will see you guys. I'll probably see you guys here in a little bit because I'm gonna probably stream some Titanfall. Colin, I don't know what you're gonna do. You're gonna hop on, hop off. You're gonna get some more rest, put some cough drops in.
I don't know. Tough it out, maybe.
Tough it out, man. Me and Tent sitting there on the grind. Sean on Diablo. You over there in bed like, my throat. I got a headache. What's the name of that headache that you get?
Cluster headaches.
The cluster headache. I'm not making fun of that because this looked like it was painful from the description. But yeah, guys, I'll be streaming here probably within the next half hour. I gotta eat some food. I'm really hungry, and then I'll be on.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys.
But for you Star Citizen guys, I have joined you. I'm a backer. Subscribe. Oh yeah, wait, Colin, we gotta sign off because we had some people saying that they missed the show, right? All right, so I got my phone open right now, right? All right, it's Tuesday, the 1st. It's April Fool's Day, right? Let me just show you guys. So next week is the 8th. So open up your calendar app, all right, and your phones. Open up your calendar app. Go to Tuesday the 8th, right? All right, so look, here's my phone right now. You see my calendar right there, right? It shows, look, I even remind myself. Can you guys see that? I remind myself, live stream show. I get ready. I'm ready to go, all right? So all you got to do is click on that. You click your little plus sign. You say Frag Logic. Set it 15 minutes before. Set it weekly. You're good. You're golden. You'll never miss a show. Ever. Or you could go into your settings and do the email stuff. But I'm telling you, the phone, much more reliable. All right? Got in with that. I'll catch you next week. Peace.